Oh, now it's on. Oh, now it's on like Pong and Donkey Kong. Hello. I was all ready to start on time, and then I had a big coughing and sneezing fit and had to run and get tissues. And here we are. Oh, I don't like my camera angle. Hang on. There we go. Oh, yeah, I've just run downstairs and back up again, obviously, because otherwise I'd still be downstairs. And yeah, now I'm out of breath. And I've just coughed and sneezed my way into this, which is not what I was expecting, but there you go. Hello. Welcome back to some more early morning barking, talking about BPD and MPD by somebody that has both. Whew. It's fine now. Right, so I tried a countdown timer on the starting soon bit before the thing. Did you see? It worked. And there are more of you here when I start. I wonder if it makes an effect, if it has an effect. I'm still learning how to stream on the internet. You'd think it would be easy, but it's apparently not. And here we are. But that's good. This seems to be working. It's turned on. There are people watching. I'm just going to waffle for a bit, as usual, because that's something I can choose to do, and wait for people to turn up before I start talking about anything important. I didn't even Google any of it. I should probably... I don't care enough. What am I going to Google anyway? Panic? Catastrophizing? I know these things. What has the internet to tell me about catastrophizing? I'll tell the internet a thing or two, quite frankly, and that's why we're here, isn't it? Incidentally, before we get started, any super chats are very much appreciated, and I have an added gimmick this evening, I think. You might notice in the bottom left of your screen, above where it says the latest super chat, it says, do super chats change the color of my lights? And I'm realizing you can't see that very well because it's written in black. Hang on. Bear with me a sec. There, now it's written in white. Not over the coughing fit, by the way. I'm keeping it suppressed. Do super chats change the color of my lights? Question mark. Because I don't know. But the reason why it's worth asking this question at all is because it's technically possible. Right? The reason why I'm bringing this up on any level, do super chats change the color of my lights? Because it is set up now so that the answer to that question is yes. I don't know if it will work. I haven't tested this but once, right? I don't know. Do super chats change the color of my lights? They're supposed to, but I don't know. There's really only one way to find this out. And I feel it rather obvious what that is. And so apparently when someone sends a super chat, this light will change to a random color. I don't know. This is magic to me, right? I remember being a teenager and doing IT science things at school where it was like cutting edge stuff, that we had a computer that could be plugged into a box, that could be plugged into a light, and then the box could turn the light on and off. That was a thing that we did when I was a kid at school, and it was amazing. And it was because our school had just been given lots of money to spend on stuff like lights that turn off by the computer, and we could play with that. And now I have it in my house, and you can do it here. We don't need to be in the IT labs at school anymore in Doncaster. That would be impractical for us all. So now you can apparently change the color of my lights with a super chat. I was looking at suggestions on ways to encourage more super chats, and that was the most sensible of them. Other things included do a dare. Fuck off. No. Or reveal something personal about yourself. I think these were lists written by 15-year-old girls. I think they were. They weren't. I'm not doing dares on a video. That's a bit. What does that? No, that's crazy. But anyway, I am here to talk about panic and catastrophizing. By the way, I can put super chats up on the screen now as well. That's the thing. I'm 2022 all the way. I'll be playing Fortnite next. Panic and catastrophizing. I've been panicking a bit. Just a little bit. Over the last few months, I would say. But also, more intensely over the last week. And if you watched any of my live streams, as a lot of you did on Wednesday and none of you did on Thursday, you'll have heard, I was trying to show growth of my channel and all of that sort of thing before I had this meeting this morning. And I've had that meeting this morning and it went okay. Panic over, done with, nothing to worry about, whatever. I can chill. Well, not really, because I'm still trying to do something here, And that's why I've kind of had a day off. This isn't as hard as doing the prepared videos ahead of time where I actually make the effort to shave. And the relief has been intense, right? It's been incredible. I am just walking on air at the moment. I don't care. Whatever. I'm now relaxed again, right? I am now back to just dealing with things the way I deal with things, whatever that is. And I had all this panic. And it was panic. And it didn't help, and it didn't get me anywhere, and it didn't make anything any better. It didn't improve anything. It didn't help on any level. It made everything worse. And the reason I think there's some sort of vicious cycle. I don't think you can mention panic without catastrophizing. Especially when we're talking about BPD stuff and like cluster B stuff. Panic and catastrophizing are very meshed together. They're two separate parts of the same thing that combine to make some kind of mega emotion or reaction or whatever, right? You've got the panic, which is the panic is that, well, it's the panic. It's the confusion. It's the not doing anything and just going, oh, that kind of thing. Panic is not dealing with things. Panic is the opposite of dealing with things. Panic is disarray. Panic is panic, right? And that can happen about so many things. But then we add the catastrophizing. Because that can feed the panic. Because why panic about what's actually going on when you can panic about the worst thing you can imagine, right? This is the fun bit of a BPD brain. Why do one thing when you can do so many more, right? So let's panic, and then let's decide that the thing we're panicking about is the worst possible outcome of whatever scenario we're in. So in my particular case, I was panicking. I had to show growth. I had to do all of that to maintain my channel, to keep getting money, to live, to not have to go and do other things and all of that. And I was panicking. Just not clearly thinking, not focused or hyper-focused on the wrong things, unable to get on and do stuff properly and calmly and in the best way to proceed with things. And then the catastrophizing starts, right? Because I'm not just... What I start worrying about isn't reasonable. It begins to get unreasonable and goes off into dark and crazy places, and everything begins to be affected by this thing. So I start worrying that Right, okay, so I'm gonna all about let's assume it all goes wrong, right? Like I have this meeting, I get all my sanctions, I lose all my money, I get that all goes wrong. Well, then I'm gonna lose my channel somehow. Well, what's going to happen is I'm going to get a regular full-time job, and I have to get a full-time job. I can't get a part-time job. And that's going to make it so that I just forget about doing my channel, and then it just goes away. And then that's another failure thing in my life. And I've failed at something else, and then I'm doing this job that I hate and all of that. And then I eventually get suicidal ideation and just kill myself because I have to stop going to group because I've got this full-time job. I would probably have to give up the dog because I wouldn't be around to walk him in the daytime, and no one can walk him in the evening time. That's impossible. So it goes on and on and on, and it snowballs. And eventually the thing that I'm panicking about is not real. It's the worst thing that I can imagine. And everything comes back to my own death, the loss of everything, horrible things happening to people and things that I love and care about, the whole world coming to an end, all sorts of stuff. And that's what I'm panicking about, the end of the world, rather than this thing I've just got to keep an eye on, or this thing that most people can deal with properly because they aren't doing all of this. And the catastrophizing not only feeds the panic, but it feeds itself. It goes looking for new things. It goes looking for what can happen to each aspect of my life. And it, in my case, in this particular instance, managed to reach out to so much. I was going to lose everything. My life was going to be reduced to like only being able to exist on Saturday and Sunday, and then having to choose every weekend between who I saw, family, friends, whether I had any hobbies, all of that. Like everything was the worst thing it could be. That's what I was panicking about. No wonder I was panicking, right? I thought the entire world was going to fall down around me. It's easy to panic about that. That's a big deal. That's a big thing when it happens, the world falling down around you. And it doesn't happen very often, really. But my catastrophizing makes it. It has to find the lowest of the low point. It has to just keep digging and digging and digging. And the longer you leave it, the more it digs and the deeper it goes. And I haven't found a way to sit here and tell you about to get over it or stop doing it. I know I'm doing it. I know I am. But I keep doing it. And it feeds rage. It feeds tantrums. It feeds tetchiness and frustratedness and all those other sort of sharp, horrible moods and emotions that you can get into. I've been very sensitive of late, whilst also being very emotionally flat because every ounce of emotion that I've felt has gone into this panic. It is all consuming. It is all you can think about, all you can focus on, all you can do. And I don't know how to stop it. That's not me asking for help right now. I don't know, we're all living with it, right? If you have found some way of dealing with it, give me a shout, Send a super chat, turn the lights blue. All of that. But how do you stop it? What I have found is that it ends when the thing you're worrying about comes to a conclusion. So I've had my meeting, so panic about the meeting is done with, right? And I haven't transferred that panic on to the next thing because I'm not out of the woods. I'm just moved on to the next battle, which is fine. But here we are. So how do I stop it? How do I stop it happening in a month's time? I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. Someone somewhere is shouting mindfulness. No. Well, yeah, maybe. Mindfulness is going to become that thing, isn't it, that I just joke about for years and never actually do. And then one day I might actually do it and I'll be like, why the hell haven't I been doing this for years? It was a running joke. I know this. But I know I'm doing it. This is catastrophizing is one of those weird things. It's like it's the mental equivalent of the cheese rolling. Have you seen that today? Have we all seen the cheese rolling today, by the way? Was it today? We're looking this up. Hang on. We're looking this up. We're looking for the cheese rolling. Because I believe it took place today. Cheese rolling. Do, do, do. Here we go. Here we go. Hang on. I'm assuming this one. There you go. A visual representation of catastrophizing. What your brain is doing on catastrophizing. And I can stop doing it as much as they can stop running down a hill. They're chasing cheese, by the way. There it is. There's the cheese. And really, the goal has just become to get to the bottom of this hill as fast as you can. And really, that can be done much more quickly if you have a lack of regard for your own life and well-being, as this young lady clearly has there. This looks like the men's event. There you go, run. Oh, this stuff's hilarious. I can love this. I don't stop doing it. I know it's insane, and these people all get very hurt. But no one's making them do it, so it's fine. Look, that hurt, mate. That really hurt. You landed on your face then, didn't you? Oh. That is an injured man right there. Yeah. Oh, he saved you. There, he saved you because you were going to die. What's this one? This is another round. Oh, this guy's doing. Is he going to do it? I think he might. See, if you can just jump, if you just don't care. He did it, Mr. Union Jack Top. You got some cheese there. Well done with your cheese. That's a real thing that we've done for years and years and years in this country. And that's what catastrophizing feels like. And saying mindfulness stops it feels a bit like saying, well, just stop running down the hill, right? I get it. I do. But it's not necessarily that straightforward, unfortunately. It's not that easy. I don't know how you just get a grip of it. Catastrophizing is that's one of my least favorite bits of BPD. I hate all of it. I've got to be honest, though. I mean, what's your favorite bit? I hate all of it, but the catastrophizing is one bit I would really rather live without, and I never quite found a way around. I guess I'm getting a little better at winding it in. A tiny bit better, not much. Not much on any level. It's hard. Right? But I don't know. And so I get the panic. And it hyper focuses me. It keeps me on this task. It keeps me on this goal. And if it's something that I'm not getting out of, it just compounds the issue, right? It's like if you're trying to grow, you want to grow. And if you're not, that makes panic about not growing worse because it's kind of coming true. This is the other problem with catastrophizing. What if it sometimes happens? I mean, do I catastrophize about stuff that is beyond the realm of possibility or probability? Some of it, yes, actually. And I mean like beyond the realm of possibility. That could mean anything, right? That could mean like and then aliens are going to come and Bigfoot will fight them and chase them away, but Santa Claus is going to come to watch the fight and accidentally land his sled on my head and kill me. Like, okay, that's not really what we're talking about. It was things like, the whole like no one can possibly walk the dog at nighttime. Well, yes, they can. I can. Whatever, that's fine. Lots of people have jobs and dogs. That's a normal thing. And so catastrophizing about that scenario actually is as beyond the realm of possibility as the whole alien versus Bigfoot fight, which is so a movie I'm surprised doesn't exist if it doesn't. That must be a thing. Bigfoot versus aliens? Yeah. Sorry, I just got lost on that for a minute. You'd watch that movie. I'd watch that movie. I've totally lost my track now thinking about the aliens versus Bigfoot movie. It couldn't be aliens like xenomorphs. That would be horrific. But it would have to be the Bigfoot in like Bigfoot and the Hendersons. That's the Bigfoot it is in my head. The aliens, it might be funny if they're like cute aliens or something like that. This could be a comedy. It doesn't have to be a horror action. Yeah, I like it. Somebody make that and put Rick Moranis and what's his name? The guy in Cocoon. In Police Steve Guttenberg. Steve Guttenberg and Rick Moranis in Bigfoot versus Aliens. This might have gone off on a bit of a tangent here, so we'll try and bring it back a little bit. I was talking about panic and catastrophizing. Because you don't catastrophize about Bigfoot fighting aliens and Santa Claus landing on your head. I would if I were lost in the woods. So maybe it's just contextual. Maybe, if I were lost in the woods, I'd be worried about big feet. Or are they friendly? We don't know. We've never met them yet. They seem to be quite private. We know that. But they might be just dying for a chat then. Anything's possible. Sorry about this. Is this an ADD brain? Is this where I go? That I can just take myself off to the land of big feet versus aliens? Not big aliens. Not, like I say, not predators or something like that. That would be horrific. Little aliens. They are bald, though. They're not hairy things. There's enough hair with Bigfoot there. Yeah. Welcome to my tangents. I quite like tangents on my shows, though. I kind of feel like this is what it's for. I can go off onto tangents about anything you want. I'm going to do it. I'm kind of doing it now. I'm doing a tangent. This used to be my thing. There was a while in podcasting where it felt like any subject I sat down to talk about would be the one subject that I absolutely did not sit down and talk about. And that could be a thing. I kind of got rebellious. Didn't want to talk about the thing. which is not good in a show where your show is named after the thing that's being talked about. But anyway, I'm not gonna tangent anymore. The panic for me is a fear. I know panic's kind of a fear. What's the fear of? The fear is that I'm not going to be able to cope with whatever I'm panicking about. I don't panic about things I know I can deal with. Things I know I can deal with, I tend to just take in my stride. But the things I'm panicking about, and those things tend to be financial related, relationship related. How do people feel about me? That kind of thing. Did I say or do the wrong thing? Past tense, very importantly, past tense. Because all of these things are things that I can't deal with. I can't do anything about. If I said or did the wrong thing earlier, then that's it. I said or did the wrong thing earlier. If I need more money and I don't have it and I need it for something, then I can't make it appear. I can't deal with that. I can't fix the problem. And so the panic comes around problems I know I can't fix. I'm not worried about other things. They're easier to deal with. They're stuff I can cope with. Stuff I know that when a question is asked, I have an answer, so to speak. So I panic about stuff. Not that I can't control, but that I can't cope with. There's lots of stuff I can't control, right? But that I can cope with. So that having that control isn't necessarily the thing. I might panic over a loss of control, but then that would be panicking about something that is beyond my control. Same thing. So really, panic is about not being able to cope with whatever it is I'm panicking about. So in my case, that was about needing to show something I can't do anything about that. Right? There's only so much I could do, and I kept doing stuff and I could see it not working, or at least not working on the scale that I'm working on. Right? Then more panic. That's what the panic is. I can't do anything about this. And then that further panic of I can't just go and get that job. It's not that straightforward. I can't just have more money. I can't just XYZ. So panic because I've got no control. Sorry, no, because I can't do anything about what's happening to me. Frustration and anger because I've got no control. And in this case, even more of that because I know that having more money fixes all these problems, and the same thing fixes both problems, and it just makes it even worse. Do you ever wonder what it would be like to live in a place where everyone's just comfortable and people can get the help they need and all kinds of things? It must be nice that. I'd love to be Norwegian or Swedish, just Scandinavian in general, actually. What is it about those countries? Why did they get everything so sorted and comfortable for people to live in? I don't know. Is it the snow? Is it the proximity to Santa Claus and reindeer? Has anyone looked into this? Are they all friends with big feet and that's what keeps them going? Who knows? Who knows? Well, perhaps we'll get to see if my super chats change colour tonight. Maybe we'll see if it does it another night. I don't know. Do the super chats change the colour of my lights? Anything could happen. I feel it almost necessary to look up the type of aliens that I think would be fighting Bigfoot. That's not actually what I'm looking up right now. I just wondered, how are we defining panic? Not in a dictionary sense. That's crappy. Bear with me here. A sudden sensation of fear, which is so strong as to dominate or prevent reason and logical thinking, replacing it with overwhelming feelings of anxiety and frantic agitation. That's the phrase I was looking for, isn't it? Frantic agitation, consistent with an animalistic flight or fight reaction. Panic may occur singularly. That's one of those words. Singularly in individuals or manifest suddenly in large groups as mass panic, closely related to herd behavior. I've often wondered, we talk about mass panic. Is that when it makes contagious? Because if lots of people happen to become panicked because of the same thing, isn't that people panicked next to each other? I don't know. For mass hysteria, see cats and dogs living together. Right, the fight or flight response, among other names, is a psychological reaction that occurs in response to a perceived harmful event, attack, or threat to survival. Animals react to threats with general discharge of the sympathetic nervous system, preparing the animal for fighting or fleeing. The adrenal medulla produces a hormonal cascade that results in the secretion of big words. Right, that took it to a place I didn't really need. Symptoms of fear, that sort of thing. So I kind of figured that one all out correctly. A response to a perceived harmful event, attack, or threat to survival. Panic. And it is the fight or flight. What are the others? Freeze or fawn. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Whatever. And it comes to me when this is the panic that stops me opening the mail every day. That walk towards the front door to see has any mail come. And that little bit of adrenaline that kicks in as I get closer to the door and then releases when there's nothing there. Or maybe it's horrible. Maybe there's a brown envelope there. Right? Maybe there's something I can't deal with. That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm scared about. It comes to so much. And this panic always affecting you in different ways, like socially as well. Like that panic along with the catastrophization of how are things going to go in this social situation? Everybody's going to hate me. Everybody really hates me anyway. I don't really have any friends, etc., etc. All of that stuff that we do. We catastrophize our lives and then panic about it at every possible opportunity, waiting for the worst thing we can possibly imagine to occur. And we try and just go about our day like this. Really? It's amazing we're functional. But when you think about it, we can't do it about everything. If we did it about everything, we wouldn't be functional. You wouldn't get in a car. You wouldn't eat processed food. You wouldn't go out. And so we have to let things go to be functional, right? When I get in my car, I'm not hyper focused on the number of people that die every day in car crashes. Right? That doesn't come up. It might flash through my mind if there's a particularly hairy incident or something like that, but I'm not sat in fear and panic in my driver's seat worrying that I'm going to be killed at any moment, which is the logical catastrophized version of driving a car, right? Oh, yeah, sure, my lights are on green, but maybe there's a big truck that's going to come through. I can't move off this spot. You wouldn't be functional. You have to let stuff go. Like, yeah, I know no one dies of razor blades in Big Macs, but what if this is the one? No, you can't. We don't live our lives like that. But then these aren't situations that we can't necessarily. Are they? What is that? I mean, that's a different kind of catastrophizing, isn't it? That's the sort of the stuff that seems beyond the realm of probability. Right? It's not, we can get a grip on that. We're not really worried that sometimes that potentially we've got the first Big Mac to accidentally be sold with a razor blade in it. We're not really worried about that. That's not on our list of stuff because it's not on anybody's list of stuff. But that bill that we can't pay, that's an all too real possibility. That happens. And so that we're far more preoccupied with. That's a thing in our world. And so we don't worry about other things as well that are possible. But we have to limit ourselves, I suppose, to stuff. I mean, like, do you know how many things you can die of that you don't know about right now? That was a thing that's come up for me this week. Right? I worry about things like, how am I going to die? Cancer, heart attack, car accident, plane crash, whatever. Fall down the stairs and break my neck. There's certain things I'm looking out for that. Right? And if one of them gets me, but it was that one. Right? How many more things exist in science and medicine that I have no clue about that could be coming to get me? Do I know every disease and illness? Do I? Hell. So, I don't know. How many things have you read about where you go like, as if that's a thing? Well, the person who it happened to didn't know it was a thing any more than you were until something happened to them. I read an article the other day about a man who didn't know he was ill till his penis fell off. Like, what the hell? No one warned me about the penis falling off disease. That should be on my list of things to worry about, and it wasn't. It is now. Apparently it just fell off. I can't imagine that just happening one time. There must have been build-up of some kind. But anyway. You see what I'm saying? You can't panic about everything, and we don't panic about everything. We just panic about that stuff that feels like it'll come into our world. And I think when you start panicking about everything, that becomes a different thing. That's when you get into stuff like hypochondria and that kind of stuff. And we're not talking about that. So does that make our panic more reasonable to a certain extent? If we're panicked about something that could conceivably happen to us, a problem that could conceivably befall us, is that unreasonable? Maybe not. But that's only an in the first place kind of thing. Because as we read on the panic thing, panic is lack of focus, agitation, not getting things done. It's the opposite of how we want to feel, of how we need to be to deal with things. So while it might be reasonable at first, we still don't want to live with it, right? We still don't want to sit in it. We need to get rid of it. So how do you get rid of panic? Well, If films are anything to go by, being slapped in the face and vigorously told to pull yourself together helps. But I've seen a lot of things in films, and I don't know if that feels quite right. Although I've kind of sometimes wondered if that might help me in therapy, at least once or twice. Just a quick pull yourself together, man. That might. I'm not saying it's a treatment on its own, but as a supplement to other treatments, I could see that being quite useful. But ultimately, as an effective method of calming people down, I don't see that as being a particularly good idea. So, how the fuck do you stop panic? I don't know. We're butting up well against the stuff I have no answers for. Right? There's a ceiling on what I can talk about and give you answers. There's only so much I've figured out myself. There's only so much I know how to do. So, solving panic, getting over those fears, I've never figured it. Never figured it out. But in talking about it this much, I realized just how much it's stopping me doing things. And how all that stuff is panic. I can't open the mail because I'm panicking about what's in the mail. In the same way that I don't feel like I can go and get a quote real job because I'm panicking about what that will involve, what that will be like, what things will happen to my life beyond my control. Catastrophizing about that, making it worse. And it's keeping me held down, it's keeping me back, it's keeping me from moving forward and doing what I need to do that. So I need to find this way to stop panic, to get through it. It's easier said than done. And so I'm going to have to revisit this because I have no answers right now as I sit here. I don't know how you stop panicking. Even when you know you're doing it. I guess that's what they call being brave. I don't know. Is it? Is that what they call being brave? Being brave. Doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. Like Luigi in Luigi's Mansion. Or Klingons, I'm told. Only a fool feels no fear. It's kind of true. Wise beings, the Klingons. You should listen to them once in a while. You might learn something. But as for that, I'm a little disappointed that we didn't test my lights changing colour. But, you know, can't win them all. I hope you've all had a good time on the live stream. I've kind of run out of stuff to talk about with Panic and Catastrophizing. And I've riffed on lights and aliens versus Bigfoot. I can still just keep talking crap at you for longer if you like. I have nowhere to go. I have nothing to do. I'm fine. I'm free and easy. Did you see the Apple event earlier? We can talk about that. You know, I may enjoy my new job. It could open doors for me. It could. I wouldn't, and I don't have a new job. I don't want a new job. I like doing this. Thank you. And I like putting everything into this that I can. Because this is far more helpful. This is far more useful than any job I'm going to get. This is just so much better. And I still get to do all those other things like go to group and walk the dog in daylight and other things like that. It's always been preferable. I don't have to work with idiots. I just work with one idiot. And he's easier to deal with. He's a bit neurotic, but I've got him under control now. So At least he's the only person I've ever worked with that I have any respect for what he's saying. That's unfair. That's unfair. I have worked with several people who have had respect for what they're saying. We can count them on one hand. There's maybe 3. Definitely 3. 4. 4 or 5 people, maybe, that I've worked with that I've had respect for what they're doing and how they do it and that sort of thing. And that's been it. I've certainly never had anyone that I've called a boss that I've looked up to or had any respect for, either as a human being or as a boss. And I've had real world jobs, right? I didn't get to 43 just doing this from nowhere. I've not done nothing for the last 25 years. But it never went well because everyone I ever worked with was a fucking idiot. This is right. This is where I'm up to in group at the moment, by the way. This is where we are. Is why can't I deal with people? Why can't I get over that sort of hump to go and work with people and be more tolerant of them and not hate them? And I think they're all sort of MPD related answers, but also it's fear related. All of this is fear related, though, isn't it? All of it is fear related. The only difference between BPD and MPD is how those fears play out and how they come out of us. The things that we do. And those two, they're different on those grounds, but they're all fears. It's all fear based. So any feelings I have about going to work, it's not a laziness, right? It's not that I don't want to do anything or I just want to sit in my underpants and play Xbox all day. Because I don't even want to do that, right? Given the opportunity, that's not what I do with my life. And, by the way, laziness is something I feel I've been guilted into feeling a lot of by my upbringing. Like if you're not doing something, you're lazy. You're actively refusing to do something because you'd rather do nothing. And there's no good excuse for doing nothing. And especially when it comes to work. If you don't want to work, the only excuse that you've got is that you're lazy. And you just want something for nothing. You just don't want to work. That sort of thing. And so it's so ingrained into me, it's so guilted and shamed into me, that attitude, that even though I know it's not true for myself, because I don't have a problem working. Not at all. I'm doing it now, right? I don't have a problem with laziness. I have a problem with the environments in which I can exist and operate. That's the problem I have. I'm willing to bet you all have the same thing, and it's quite sad and quite telling that in a situation where I'm talking to people who more than likely suffer from similar problems to me and understand exactly what I'm talking about, I still feel I have to justify that I'm not lazy. That there's a problem here, that I'm like the way I am because there's something wrong. I'm even justifying it to you lot, and you lot are sat watching me because you have the same problem for the same reasons. And I find that very sad. We're sort of guilted into just loathing ourselves by people who don't understand us or really have any interest in making us better. They just sort of want to punish us. Oh, you're lazy. Because that's so easy to explain. It's very rare in my life that I've met somebody that I would class as genuinely lazy. Like, doesn't want to do anything. Right? I I don't think so. The existence you can maintain without doing anything isn't good enough to make it appealing. And if you've got enough resources to maintain an existence where you don't have to do anything but can avoid doing stuff without being uncomfortable, then you're probably doing something more fun than that anyway. Right? If you're rich and don't have to work because you're rich, you're probably on holiday. And that's probably, I don't count that as lazy. That's just a better life because you're rich, isn't it? Isn't that the goal? Like, not necessarily to be sat doing nothing, but doing whatever you want and like having experiences and seeing the world and having fun and doing stuff and all that sort of thing. Yeah. Anyway, God, have I rambled on? I have rambled on. I'm going to get off because it's getting late here, and I'm curious to see if my lights actually do change color. So thank you for listening, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this live stream, and I hope you come back and join me for another one next Monday. I'm not going to do the whole like live streams throughout the week thing because that was a bit mental and a bit because of the panic, because of the not knowing what to do with stuff and trying to do anything and everything. And again, thank you to everybody who turned out both nights. It was great of you and wonderful. And thank you to everybody who signed up to support the channel. And if you haven't done that yet, if you look on the webpage, there is a join button. On my web pages below the videos, next to the subscribe button, there's a join button, and you can get extra videos every week and podcasts, and it's just the same as what's on Patreon. Or there is Patreon at patreon.com/earlymorningbarking, where you can sign up and also get extra videos and podcasts and stuff every week. And on the Patreon, there's the Discord as well. I couldn't figure out how to link the two, like the YouTube and Patreon to Discord. We'll look into that. I would like them both linked. I'm not purposefully excluding anything from anybody. So, I'm going to get off now. You take care. I'll be back. I'm going to post some videos tomorrow. And, yeah. Get caught up with today after that. Big release. Big release. So you take care. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.